You are managing a large construction project and have been monitoring the Schedule Performance Index SPI over the last 3 months. The SPI has consistently been less than 1, whereas CPI, which is also called Cost Performance Index, is 1. Okay. What action should you take to improve the SPI to 1 or more? So the question is saying your schedule performance index is less than 1 and you want to make it more than 1, whereas a cost performance index is 1. So looking at the option, we need to identify which one can help us in doing it. Yeah. Now this particular question will require us to understand what is the meaning of schedule performance index. Yeah. If we miss that, then we are in a trouble. So we understand, I hope, that schedule performance index less than 1 shows that we are slow. Yeah, we are behind our schedule. And if it is more than 1, it shows that we are ahead of our schedule. So this question is saying you are behind your schedule and what should you do so that you can get back on track? That's the simple question, but they are putting it into the question which I have designed is putting into the term of schedule performance index and cost performance index to check the understanding of these two indexes. Yeah. So let's look at the option. Option A, allocate more fund to the project to expedite process and cover additional resources. So this option is saying that you need to do crashing. Yeah. So we understand that by way, in order to make schedule fast, we need to apply fast tracking or crashing. And the option A is saying go for crashing. Yeah. Now, here I can say I can do it, but my cost performance index is also 1. I don't have additional money available. And if I go for crashing, it will put a stress on my cost performance index. So, though it's an option because the question is more focused on schedule performance index, but I will keep it at a flag because if I can find something which can give me a cost management as along with improving my schedule, I will choose that option. Option B, add more resources to a critical path activities to shorten the project duration. So more or less same like A. It is also saying that you do a crashing, but rather than using the money part of it, it is saying that you put resources. Yeah, and you can say that put more resources, which will end up adding more money. And that will also put a stress on my cost performance index, but that can probably reduce. This option is better than A because in option A, we were saying allocate more fund, but it was not very clearly saying that am I allocating the funds to a critical path? The option B is very specifically saying that allocate more resources and funds to a critical path so that you can reduce the duration. So it is better than A, but it is still putting a risk on our cost performance index. Let's go for option C. Perform activities in parallel that were originally planned in sequence where possible. So now this option is saying go for fast tracking. Yeah, that's a good idea because crashing and fast tracking are the schedule compression technique, and crashing has a usual consequences of cost increase, and fast tracking may have a consequences on cost may, but it may also increase some possible risk which may get converted into cost impacts. But looking at the option, this is the good, we can do a fast tracking in this particular situation. So I'm liking the option C. Let's see, we go further. Option D, eliminate or scale down certain project component to meet the original timeline. So it is directly saying reduce the scope. In a predictive life cycle, I can't say that I can reduce the scope unilaterally. I need to probably put a change request and we need to discuss with the stakeholder. But more or less, when I'm dealing with the PMP exam, I consider scope as a more or less non-negotiable element. Yeah. I don't go and say I have a problem, reduce the scope. Like that, I don't do it until unless question indicates that scope is negotiable. So it is too many assumptions which needed for the option D, so I can safely ignore that. So I can say option A and B were focusing on crashing. Option A was not very clear about crashing, but option B was clearly focusing on crashing. And we got a question talking about cost performance index. So the hint we got that don't select crashing because you don't have too many money, too much extra money involved and available. And then we can go for option C because it is talking about the fast tracking. Now, this particular question is also checking our understanding of costing and scheduling. So we can say the two tasks of our process domain came in picture. Task 5, plan and manage budget and resources because we were focusing on cost performance index also. And task 6, which is focusing on plan and manage schedule, because the basic focus was schedule performance index. So both these tasks were involved. The topics, we can say, yes, it was focusing on schedule compression with the help of good understanding of crashing and fast tracking, and you should be able to apply it in the context rather than just knowing the definition of it. It is also testing the ability of a project manager to understand what is the interpretation of schedule performance index and cost performance index.